y'all, I'm Ali. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. As you guys know, we typically like to do Monday prep day, and we get all of our stuff ready for the week, all of our meals, kind of sorted out, pull our stuff out of the freezer, chop what we can, kind of organize for the week so that my week is just a little bit easier. Well, 2 weeks ago we were in Ohio, and then, nope, that was 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, my mother-in-law came into town and she stayed through the next Monday, which I know we promised you guys a video with her. Y'all, we kept her so busy that any free time we had, we basically watched the Dodgers play. But, so we ended up not doing a video, but I did post one picture of all of us at Renaissance Fair on our Facebook page, so you can head over there if you want to see what she looks like. Anyways, we had a great time with them, but then they left. We didn't do the meal prep last week because they left midweek. And it just really screws me up when things aren't organized the way that I'm used to. So this morning I got up and I thought, okay, yesterday was Memorial Day. So today's technically Tuesday, but it's Monday, Tuesday. You know what I mean? But I got up this morning, I started doing things to get ready for today's meals and a little bit for tomorrow, some defrosted stuff. And I thought, you got to jump right back in this or you're just not going to start it back up again. And it's been working really, really well. So why would you stop? Hello. So welcome to our weekly prep. I get a piece of paper out, and on it, I write a few key things that help me stay organized. We got this chalkboard at the Target dollar spot, like literally, does it have a year on it, I wonder? It probably does. 2015, we've been using this guy for 10 years. It's a chalkboard, and Shawn, every week after we go grocery shopping on Saturdays, he puts on there what we're having for the week. And so like this weekend, we did Salisbury steak with, what did we eat with it? Mashed potatoes and peas. That was Saturday. Then nope, that was Sunday. What did we do Saturday? Our weekend got all screwed up because we were working on a bunch of projects. Anyways, yesterday the kids came over for Memorial Day because they always come over on Mondays, and we had smoked pork burritos, which is super traditionally American. Not really. I mean, at least it's smoked pork. But anyways, that was what our weekend and Monday looked like. So for today, I started to pull stuff out. I already have, for dinner we're having sushi. We make homemade sushi. I have the sushi rice going. I got that going this morning so it has all day to cool. We just put some seasoned rice vinegar on it that we get at the Asian store. It's basically just like sugar and vinegar. So I have that drying or cooling. Then on this side, this is the stuff I did and then I was like, why am I not filming? Over here I have our loaf of bread. I guess I can show you. We did a loaf of bread in the back, and then I did 5 hamburger buns, which my kid that lives here uses for sandwiches and just random stuff. So that's all I've done so far. And then I thought I better bring you guys along for the rest. So let's go, right? Get to it, lady. So we use just big tablet paper things. And on here, I write a couple things and I break categories down. So I have a prep area where I have like bread and buns, which I've already started working on. I have the meats I'm gonna defrost, so we pull all of our meat out for the week, put it in a big bowl, throw it in the fridge. Unless it's like certain things that I don't want to sit in the fridge that long, say like shrimp or fish, they defrost really quickly. And so I will usually pull those out later in the week, but we have a category for that too. Add to daily. I keep a daily, I'll show you guys. I show you every time. I keep a daily calendar over here on the counter. I got it at Walmart on clearance for like $3. It has a weekly daily checklist on it. So for me, it's like, I always have dinner prep on here if there's anything I need to do for dinner. Etsy orders are on here. Thank you for anybody who's been placing orders with us. Fridays, I clean out the fridge. It has what day I do laundry, and it just helps me as I stop mid-sentence. I'm a little ADHD, and sometimes if I don't have things written down, I will wander around the house and accomplish pretty much nothing. If I have things written down in a checklist style, I feel like I'll get a lot more accomplished. So when I say add to daily, I will add it to that day's list so that it gets done on that particular day. We have a pull from pantry area. We keep most of our canned goods and pastas and stuff in a large pantry. We have it in a attached garage that was converted before we bought the house. So we have a large pantry out there. We have a video. It's in there. We'll go check it out later. And then anything I'm gonna film for the week, if I need to do any food prep for that, is also on here. Or if it's a dinner that we're doing, then I think, you know what, I've been promising you guys I'd film this. I throw that on my filmed area. So let's go through meal by meal. and see what we got. So I usually start with dinners, then I move to breakfast and lunches and put those on there. I don't always plan breakfast and lunches, but if there's anything I didn't make for them, they end up on the list. So like today we're having sushi with edamame. Like I said, I started the rice. So I already have my nori sheets. We picked those up. You put the rice on it. Then we put some imitation crab. That's in the refrigerator, ready to go. It's just in like a sealed pouch from Kroger. Then we have some avocado. I won't slice that until we are ready for it. I know a lot of you guys say, like, what am I looking at over here? It's my thinking spot. So instead of staring at a black thing on the back of my camera, I use that as my, like, I don't know, mental list in the air. I don't know. Anyways, the next thing we add is cucumber, which I will cut at that time. Shawn usually does that, and cream cheese. But I do need to pull out some frozen tuna. I think we have some frozen tuna from Aldi to defrost. So I will put that under defrost. I just wrote Aldi instead of, oh Lord, tuna, not Aldi. Okay, so that is pretty much all we use for that. At the time of cooking our sushi, if I need to make some spicy mayonnaise, I throw that together. We keep a big batch of it just in our fridge all the time, and some sweet soy sauce. So if I need to make those when I pull them out, I'll just do it as we're making dinner. But that's sushi. Edamame's frozen, we'll just cook that at the time. I usually get it from Azure, but we were lucky enough to have to go to Atlanta when my mother-in-law was in town, and so I did pick up some edamame from Trader Joe's, which I told you guys a while ago. Actually, one of you guys told me, hey, we're getting a Trader Joe's local to us, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, the building that they're saying it's gonna go into has been at a standstill. And so there's been like rumors like, no, yes, maybe, I don't know. So the guy there who had a really cool name, what was his name? It was like Chief or something. Anyways, at Trader Joe's did confirm, yes, we are getting one. He didn't know what month. So I'm still, fingers crossed, hopeful that Trader Joe's will be coming to our area. Okay, for tomorrow, move on, lady. Tomorrow we're having carne asada. We do street corn, but we're doing it with some frozen corn that we have from Azure. So it'll be like a street corn casserole type of situation. And then just some canned black beans. So for our carne asada, I need to defrost our flank steak from Butcher Box. So I have that. We usually do tortillas. I need to do a cut list. Onions for that. Our cilantro we usually cut as we need it, but we'll do like a little, if you do carne asada, maybe I'll get Shawn to film that video for you. He does a bomb carne asada marinade. For those of you who do not know what carne asada is like a Mexican marinated steak. You can use like flank steak, flap steak, anything like that. Or there's one other steak that we sometimes use. He marinates it all day in like a cilantro. I don't even know what's in it, garlic, and it's got oregano. It's very like Mexican-y flavor. And then he throws it on the charcoal barbecue. So maybe I can get him to film that. We're gonna add that to our list, carne asada. That'll be tomorrow's dinner. So we usually put like the typical cilantro onion mix on top, maybe some limes. I'll pre-cut a lime. Over the top of that. We don't really do cheese on it or sour cream or anything like that. We just do meat and a little bit of veggies. So we'll do that. I need to pull from my pantry some black beans to do with it. We do, when we cook black beans, I just take the canned black beans, I drain it, I throw a little bit of our homemade picante sauce, like salsa over it, and maybe a tiny bit of cumin. That's it, and they're delicious. So if you're looking for an easy little way to cook whole black beans, there you go. So I have my black beans. For my street corn, I won't do that till tomorrow, but basically I'm just gonna take some frozen corn. You take a little bit of like Parmesan cheese, chili powder, a little bit of mayonnaise and Parmesan cheese, and you stir it all together and throw it in the oven until it's nice and bubbly. Thursday, we're having pork chops. We have some from Azure. Nope, they're from Butcher Box. They're just boneless, so I'll put those. We had them a couple weeks ago, and it came as a 4-pack, so we have 2 more to do. We're gonna make homemade risotto. So I need to pull from a pantry my arborio rice. Pull from the pantry, and I need a chicken stock to do that. We kind of do a little bit of a non-traditional. We use chicken stock, and I think we are gonna throw maybe mushrooms or a Parmesan in it. I don't know, I kind of wing it as I go. Then we are gonna do we had butternut squash in our long-term storage that was starting to get a little wrinkly looking. And so instead of losing the whole thing, I just cubed it up and I froze it in cubes. I'm gonna cook it in the Instant Pot and make a butternut puree out of it. So I don't have to do anything prep work for that because it's already pre-cut. I have a much higher tendency of pulling things that I've pre-prepped, like butternut. Who likes to peel and cube a butternut? It sucks, let's be real. So if I do it all at once and pop it in the freezer, I have a much higher chance of using it. So we will do that tomorrow. And then out of our pantry, I need to grab applesauce. So we have some homemade applesauce. You guys came along for that ride. Do you remember the crapple sauce we made? It's delicious. It's cranberry pear apple. We didn't know what to call it, so we called it crappy sauce. Still makes me laugh. Anyways, Friday, we are doing breakfast for dinner. We do that mostly because it's really inexpensive. Two, because it's delicious, and who doesn't like breakfast for dinner? Like, let's be real. So we probably will do waffles. I have pre-made waffle mix in the cabinet ready to go at all times, so that is easy. I have some bacon already defrosted. We bought, during a recent Butcher Box comparison video, we bought, I don't remember, some other brand of bacon. So we're gonna try that with our dinner. And then sometimes I'll cut up fruit or something to go with it, but really if we just do French toast and some bacon, we're set. Okay, so there's our meals for the week. Not too shabby, right? We're kind of being a little, I say easy this week, and then I'm like, we're making risotto with pork chops and pureed butternut. That's not easy, I know, but it's just how we eat. It is easy if you do things like this. So for breakfasts, we typically will pull yogurt and do, always. And all I did was a car drove by. It's a good thing we live in a busy neighborhood. So we usually do like yogurt, granola, and maybe some berries. We didn't buy any berries this week, but we'll do granola and yogurt. For no reason. It's all good. It's fine. My lovely husband tries to stop them from barking. It's like a lost cause. We're completely bonkers. Anyways, we'll do yogurt. Sometimes we'll just get up and have a slice of our homemade bread with just some cinnamon and sugar or jelly or, you know, whatever there. Maybe an egg. The other thing I'm going to prep this week is we got from Butcher Box some sausage patties, pre-done sausage patties. Y'all, they are really, really good. We've already had them twice since we got our box less than a week ago. It comes with 20 of those patties too. But what I love about them, this may be a TMI, you know how sometimes you eat sausage and it sticks around with you all day? Well, this one, it's like less greasy, so it didn't make you burp. Anyways, we're gonna make some breakfast sandwiches for our kid to stick in the refrigerator for the week. I have some leftover. These are the rolls that we make. We had some leftover from this weekend with one of our meals. I'm gonna turn them into breakfast sandwiches using that. A lot of times we will make breakfast sandwiches using biscuits or English muffins or something like that we have made. We throw some kind of meat like the frozen sausage or pre-cooked bacon or a piece of ham, egg and cheese, and I wrap them up really well and put them in the freezer. And then when the one that lives here wants one, he just throws it in the microwave for a couple minutes and he's got a really easy, good breakfast. So today's part of the video, we're gonna be cooking the eggs for that. So I'm gonna put breakfast sandwich on my prep list. My bread is ready for that. I'm just gonna be making some eggs. Shawn usually just pops, I'll show you. That's pretty much it, you guys. So, and lunches, we kind of wing it as we go through the week. A lot of days we have leftovers. Like I've told you guys from a billion years ago, Shawn works from home. And so he does take a lunch break every day. We come sit basically where you guys are right now. And we do lunch together every day, pretty much. Very rarely do we not, but we stop our lives and we take a few minutes together and have lunch together every day. So typically I will do some kind of salad with a protein on it or leftovers from the day before, but I don't really try to plan too far in advance for it because, you know, usually I just go, hey, what do you want for lunch today? And we pull something out in the morning so that we have it in time for lunch. Okay, that being said, let's head over to the freezer and pull out the things we need. I'm also gonna show you guys a little bit of how we organize that freezer because I've had a few questions about that. So let's head over there. Okay, so we keep this freezer, it's this tall, in the corner of our dining room. So where you guys normally see me film is right here. This is tucked right next to our dining room table. We have kind of this weird cutout and it fits perfectly. We don't use our dining room table a whole lot. We eat at our island, so this kind of works out. But if we do have company, we can still fit 6 people You don't need that much information. Anyways, this is a Magic Chef. We got it from Costco or Sam's Club. I cannot remember which one. I get asked that all the time. I like it because it's small, and I didn't want the kind where like the lid lifts up because one, I'd probably fall in trying to reach the stuff at the bottom, and two, they're very, very difficult to organize. Not that this one's much easier, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves and a little cubby at the very far bottom. And I try to keep things, if you can see on the side right here, I put stickers of what is on each shelf so that if anybody else grabs from it, they know what's what. The top shelf is always chicken breasts on the left, chicken thighs on the right, and sometimes down the middle between those we'll stick other chicken products, but it's strictly chicken. Second shelf is always all of our ground beef, and then if there's room on the side, we will do additional beef products. So like right now we have a chicken and some hot dogs, which are not beef, so I'm a liar. It's real life, you guys. If it doesn't fit, you gotta do something, right? The third shelf is always also beef products. Then the next shelf down is always pork products. The next one below that is miscellaneous. So I keep bacon, lamb, and my ice cream maker. And then behind the ice cream maker are like pecans, almonds, any kind of nuts that I use for baking that I don't want to go bad. And then the very bottom shelf is seafood. And usually if we have scraps to make dog food, it goes way down there. So I try to keep it pretty much organized. I've shown you guys this before too. We keep a very cheap dry erase board right on the side of our freezer, and we write down exactly what we have. We try to be religious about marking things off as we pull them, and then once probably typically before a butcher box arrives, I will do an inventory to make sure that it's still correct, which 9 times out of 10 it is not. Real life. You guys want me to be real. So for today, we needed a flank steak. Where did my list go? I left it over there. Flank steak, tuna, and pork chops. So I'm gonna look around in here. I know this is my flank steak. So I have my flank steak. I just keep a bowl right here to throw things into. My pork chops. Watch, they're not gonna be on my pork shelf just because I said it. My pork chops, where are ya? Oh, there we go. There's my pork chops. And then the last thing, this is our tuna. Like I said, we get our tuna from all, we are out of tuna. So our sushi is gonna be tunaless today unless I run to Aldi. Maybe if I do, I'll take you guys along and do a video. Anyways, that is it for our meals for meats for the week. I'm gonna take my bowl back over and just pop it in my refrigerator so everything starts to defrost. Before I do, I'm gonna mark off what I took out. So I took off pork chops, I can come off my list, and my tuna, obviously, see, I just did inventory and that's still wrong. And I took off my flank steak. So let me put this away and we'll continue back over here. Okay, so we're in our converted garage. It used to be a 2-car garage. It's attached to our house. We have a pretty simple house, but this is where our kids have their game room. And then behind you guys is actually our Etsy shop and our sewing area. But we have this giant closet. I have no idea. It was probably a water heater closet or something like that. Shawn built this rack. This is all of our, well, it's some of our canned goods that we have done ourselves. And then we have another closet over here that has more of those canned goods. Shawn stole my basket. Usually I have a little basket right here that I grab and then onward. But anyways, so we need a can of black beans. Let me get this opened up. In all its glory, I let you guys see everything because let's be real, we're real in this household. I'm trying to convert everything to these glass jars because like I said, we did get a critter in here and we had to like deep clean it. That was a while ago, but we're slowly converting things to those glass jars. Anyways, we need a can of black beans. I have some that we canned, and then I have a few that we're just getting through. So these are some just regular black beans. I'm gonna get these ones out because I want them gone. Black beans. We need arborio rice, which is somewhere over here. It's another one we're having because I want to get this out. I don't use it often enough to keep it, so we'll just get through it and then only buy it as needed. I need a thing of chicken stock, which is, ooh, you guys should be excited. I'm down to the nitty gritty on the box stuff. Told you guys before, we make our own, but the smell sometimes can be pretty intense. So I like to do it when it's warmer outside. so that when I'm outside, I don't freeze my tushy off. So we're down in the nitty gritty, and I have a whole chicken. So we'll get that on the rotation pretty soon. I'll bring you guys along. And then the last thing we need is applesauce, which is in my other pantry, which is just right next door. Next door. I guess it is the next door. It's right here. Let me grab one. Okay, and then we have 1 can of our applesauce that we made with you guys a long time ago. We may have overestimated, me being we, overestimated how much applesauce you need to make in a season, but the good thing is I'm good for like 2 years, so I don't have to do anything else. Let's get this stuff and we'll head back to the kitchen. I'm gonna show you guys how we store this in the kitchen for easy pulling for the week. Not that this is too far of a walk from our regular kitchen, it just makes my life easier. I'm like Rachel Ray. I try to carry as much as I humanly can, so I have to only make 1 trip. Anyways, I have to come back and get my camera anyways. What does it matter? Okay, whatever. So I have this upper cabinet in my kitchen that has a few things in it, like our guilty pleasures, our malted milk, or my coffee for the morning, but always has a little spare space right here. If there's anything left from the week before that we did not use, I will pull it and put it back in the pantry. But other than that, anything I know I'm gonna use for this week, I set right here, so it's just easy grab. Okay. I did forget to grab an onion when I was in the other room. We have what we call a root closet. It's where the applesauce was stored. I keep in that one our potatoes, onions, carrots, things like that. We just used up all of our potatoes for the year, so there's actually no potatoes or carrots left, but we do still have onions in there. So I'm gonna go run back and grab one of those so that we can continue on with our list. All right, we actually had some onion in the fridge that we keep onion, if it's whole, usually in this like little plastic container. So I have this onion to slice up, slice and dice, and 1 lime. I've shown you guys these pretty much every time I do one of these weekly meal preps. These are deli containers. These are the 16 ounce. We also have 32 ounce. 32 I like to do for like leftovers or big quantities of stuff. But for cutting things, I love these little ones because they can stack. I can throw them actually in my cheese drawer on my refrigerator. They fit just about anywhere. We have a whole video on this to do pre-shredded cheese. I use the 32 ounces for that as well. So my lime, I just stabbed myself with my own knife, jeez. My lime, I'm just gonna cut into 6 wedges, as it squirts on my face. And that's it, you guys. Now that's ready for the week for me. And I don't mind that my knife has lime juice on it. It's not cooties or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get my onion sliced up and into that deli container. So we have it for our, well, 1, we can pull from this container for any of our meals for the week if you don't like to cut onions. Or 2, our carne asada. Oh, so I just cut it one way and then I go back and cut it the other. And the way that the rings are on an onion, it basically just dices it for you. We have that in one of our other videos too. Onion is one that I love to pre-prep. I don't typically pre-cut tomato because it gets weird. You can pre-cut cucumber depending on how many days out you're gonna use it. Sometimes I will do a little bit of iceberg if we're gonna be using it for a salad, but every week I do onion. I love to have it in there. I'm surprised that we don't have any cheese on this week's meal, so I don't have to pre-shred any cheese for you guys. We just used up the last of our Azure mozzarella. Now we're gonna be getting into that one from Ohio that we got. And actually, no, we broke into the Ohio cheese. We broke into the mozzarella last week to make some cheese bread. And although it is really, really good, I'm not mocking it, I'm not giving it anything. It was kind of salty. I don't know what that was about. It was more salty than the Azure one. We haven't tried it on pizza yet, and that's kind of our telltale, but yeah, we'll let you know. So that in case you're in Middlefield, Ohio, of all places, you can buy yourself some cheese. So far, the Azure cheese wins. We'll skip it on this month's order, but thank you for that reminder. My Azure order is due tonight, so I better do a quick inventory, make sure I'm good on stuff there. Okay. We're pre-sliced and we're good. Now the mailman is here. Always something. A couple things that I do to kind of make my meal prep just a little bit easier is I typically have a sink of water going so that I can do all my dishes as I go. And things like this, I love it because I can use my knife for multiple things. I don't have to pull a knife out and wash it. Not that that's that complicated. But 2, like I woke up this morning and as I was making my coffee, I got my bread ingredients in my bread machine and got that going. So that when I was ready to do my meal prep, I was ready, right? So I'm not gonna be in the kitchen all day. So I'm gonna turn my oven on to 350 so that I can get my bread products going. Yes, we always keep oil. We're like old school. Anyways, I do little things so that it makes my job clean up and everything a little easier. Okay, so our onions and our lime are cut. I didn't have anything to add to my daily, like little things that I need to do in the morning to make sure that I'm good to go for each day. No, I didn't have anything for that, so that's easy. So the last thing we need to do, we did our bread and buns. The last thing we need to do, you guys, is make those breakfast sandwiches I was talking about. So let's get moving on those. Like I said, they're gonna be really, really easy. So let me get these onions and limes in the fridge, and then I'm gonna actually turn you around and show you guys how we cook our eggs for our breakfast sandwiches. Okay, so I have you over at our stovetop. I'm just gonna show you guys how we prep our eggs. We have tried a few times different varieties or versions of doing an egg to put on a frozen breakfast sandwich. We tried a couple times to scramble them and put them in the oven on a sheet tray. We didn't like the texture. They were very foamy and almost fake feeling in your mouth. I don't know. And then we tried regular old scrambled eggs. They fall apart. We've tried doing like a regular fried egg with the yolk intact, and they didn't microwave very well when the yolk was intact like that. So what we figured out, waiting for my pan to warm up, I have an all-clad, what is this? It's an 11-inch just square pan. We got it at Williams-Sonoma years ago. Shawn wanted it for bacon. We use it for so many other things. And it was like 35 bucks, which for all-clad is not expensive. So I usually do 2 or 3 eggs at a time. I just spray a tiny bit of avocado oil or oil of your choice, it doesn't matter. Once this gets warm, I will pop our egg on it. Then I'm just gonna pop the yolk and kind of get the yolk so it's not one formed piece. Anyways, I can't even describe it, you guys. I'm waiting for this to warm up. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for my pan to warm up, I'm gonna grab my frozen breakfast patties, sausage patties, out of the freezer and get my American cheese ready and staged on the counter so that as soon as these are fried, I can show you guys how we do that part. So let me get that stuff out really quick. Okay, now that our pan is warm, I'm just gonna take an egg and crack it onto our pan. Oops, come on. I'm gonna be so excited because we have our chickens. We got them February 11th, they were born. We got them right up by Valentine's Day. They are getting so close to laying egg age. They should be laying any day within the next 4 weeks. So we're starting to check daily, but I'm gonna be so excited when I don't have to buy eggs anymore. They're just really, really so much better tasting wise. So this one kind of went into the ditch on the side. This one a little bit better, but all I do is take my fork and kind of pop the yolk a little bit. And I'm gonna convince it to be kind of a shape that I want by pulling it in a little bit. And then I just take my fork and kind of move the yolk out a little bit so that you have a bigger surface area that your yolk goes, but it is not one bubble like this, not a traditional yolk shape. So I just do that and kind of break it up. So then you end up with a little bit more yolk per capita, space-wise, and a little less of that, you know, giant clump of white. These are gonna be a little bit big for what we're working with bread-wise today, but we use what we have, and we had those bread rolls, which I know my kid loves, so that's what he's getting this week. So I'm just gonna let these cook up until they're ready to flip. Then I'm gonna get all 6 of them done, and then I'm gonna turn you guys around and show you how we build our breakfast sandwiches. I don't salt these or pepper these because they don't really need it with all of the sausage and other things that we're gonna be using on this recipe. Okay, I got all my eggs cooked. Like I said, I just pop the middle and then I flip them once they're able to be flipped. They're just barely cooked all the way through, but they stay in a perfect little piece, but the yolk's cooked through. So they're not gonna get funky when you reheat them. So like I said, we are using rolls today. You can use English muffins, you guys can use biscuits, you guys can use sandwich bread, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna take my rolls and slice them in half. And then they will pull apart really easily at this point. It's easier to do that than it is to cut each one individually. So I have my 6 pieces. I like to flip the lid. That was a terrible cut. We'll just pretend it's fine. I like to flip my lid just outside, and then I work off of my bases to recover it. So each one of these is gonna get an egg. So we're just gonna pop one of our eggs on each one. Like I said, if you use an English muffin or something, you're gonna have a little more wiggle room here. These are gonna be a little far out on the sides. It's fine, y'all. It just means you have a few bites before you get to the bread. So there's our egg. Let me get this in our water. Okay, the next thing I typically add are our sausage patties. So like I was saying, we got these ones. They're just a pork breakfast sausage patty. They're no nitrates, all natural. It's fully cooked from Butcher Box. It came with 20 patties in it, you guys, and this is our first time trying them. They are for sure gonna be on our list again. Mostly because not only could we cook them up really, really quickly and they're microwavable, but you can do things like this with them for meal prep. This is what they look like. Like I said, they're each frozen. They're super duper thin, which I like for things like this. So I'm just gonna put one of those on each one. I have to admit, I will be sad when this bag is gone because we have, like I said, we very much enjoyed them. You guys know, if you watched that video, we had a hard time finding a humanely raised pork sausage local to us, or one that didn't have funky bits. These don't have those. Okay, next thing you need, just American cheese. Put a slice on each one. What I think is so awesome is now I have 6 breakfasts, and it took me like no time at all. Huh, look at that. Or if you're gonna cook them right now, you have 6 breakfasts done. I'm just gonna take plastic wrap and wrap each one of these. I like it because I can pop it in the freezer, and unlike foil, you can microwave this. So I just take a sheet of this, pop my little breakfast sandwich in there, give it a good wrap up. Of course it's sticking to the glass, why wouldn't it be? Give it a good wrap up. And then I'm just popping these. We do it 2 ways. If I know we're gonna get through them in the next few days, I will throw them all in the refrigerator. All you gotta do is microwave them for about a minute and you're good to go. If you're like us, we freeze things so that our teenager who lives here he can either keep one in the refrigerator so that he has less time to microwave it, and then when he pulls that one, he takes one out of the freezer and replaces it, so it's a constant rotation. Or if he does that, then it's 1 minute still. But if he pulls them straight from the freezer, it takes about 2 minutes for him to reheat. 2 minutes for a healthy breakfast and know what's in it. Plus, when we were out of town, I decided not to make these. I ran out of time, and I bought some. Y'all, it's just crazy to me. Ended up being like $2.50 a breakfast sandwich or something once I broke down the cost. And that wasn't even a healthy alternative. It was just some, brand name. And it only came with 4. My kid can go through 4 sandwiches in a day. Like, let's be real. Either way, they were quite expensive. This is a much cheaper alternative. Anyway, that's our breakfast sandwich, guys. While these were cooking, I did get our bread and our hamburger buns going in the oven. So those I'll rotate to get completed. But everything else, you guys, for our dinners for the whole week is done. And so I left my video filming this whole time because I always tell you guys like, oh, it's under an hour and you could be done. But I'm guesstimating. This time, I left my camera running the entire time. And then I edited it out to look like it's pieces, which is, you don't need to watch me for an hour. But I wanted to see how long it actually took me to make all the breakfast sandwiches, to get everything prepped, to pull, to talk, which takes, if you shut up and didn't talk so much, you would get done a whole lot faster. But anyways, I wanted to see how long that would take us. So I'm gonna spin around and check my timer on my video to see how long we actually filmed from start to finish, so that you have an idea of how long it should-ish take you to do your meal prep. Okay, last one is done. I'm gonna get these, like I said, I'm gonna put all of them in the freezer except one. That one will go in the fridge, but beautiful. Okay, let me check my timer, like I said. I'm walking over here, checking you out. I got an Etsy message, cool. So, obviously I started my bread before, so that kind of counts, but kind of doesn't, because it just only took me like less than 5 minutes to form my bread after the bread machine was done with it. We're at 54 minutes through the whole thing. That includes me fumbling around and trying to pre-plan some stuff and get things organized. So you guys can do your weekly meal prep, pull your freezer meats, chop your vegetables, get things organized. My guess is under 40 minutes. There you guys go. Maybe next time I'll just not talk and I'll just do the motions and we'll see how long it actually takes. That would be boring though. Like, you guys want to hear me talk, right? Anyways, we got everything off of our list. I had nothing to add to my daily. The only thing I didn't have was my tuna for tonight. So if I get my booty in gear, maybe I'll run to Aldi and maybe I'll take you with me. I know a lot of you guys commented on one of my recent videos about ButcherBox. The Aldi has a lot of the meat cuts they have, and I really want to go check out if they are comparable. So maybe I will take you along. Look for that video pretty soon. And the only thing I didn't get done that I was hoping to was a couple weeks ago, I showed you guys that we build our bread for the week in jars. So all I have to do is dump the ingredients when we're ready to make our bread. We don't pre-make the bread. I put the flour and the sugar and the salt and everything into jars so it's ready to dump when I'm, ready to make it. I ran out of those and I need to refill them. So I'll do that off camera. But anyways, thank you for coming along. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys make a breakfast sandwich recipe, let us know. If you're a ButcherBox person, definitely grab these. Don't grab so much that I can't have them though, because I'm gonna be disappointed when I run out. And if there's anything that you guys wanna see in our weekly preps, let me know. I appreciate you guys as always. Have a wonderful week, you guys. I just, yeah. You guys are amazing, and I'm appreciative every single day for the people that watch us. If you need a prayer in your life, comment below. We're always here for you. We call it our laundry list. So there you go. Have a great day.